Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, September 27th. You're listening to the NFT Morning Show. I think the talk of the town that everybody on the NFT or in the NFT bubble, I should say, is Pudgy Penguin's announcement yesterday. There was a hyped up announcement that was anticipated in the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem, and the result was actually a largely positive. I mean, it was really 99% a positive result, which is the announcement that the Pudgy Penguin toys will be available in 2,000 retail stores, 2,000 Walmarts across the United States. Looks like that resulted in a pump from 3.5 Ethereum up to 5.2 Ethereum. So a pretty substantial pump on the back of the news. Part of that pump on the NFT side, got to think, is because of the royalty, or I think that's the language they're using, the royalty that's associated with if toys that are of your NFT, like the Pudgy toy, looks like or is modeled after your NFT, you will receive a royalty. I think NFT people, definitely get excited by that. That's what Bored Ape Yacht Club kind of pitched in early 2021, but there was never really any sort of action or follow through all the way to the point where we now have an NFT collection that has in-store setups in a major retailer in the United States that is offering royalties to holders. So big news in the NFT space for sure. Everybody that's ever talked about intellectual property in the NFT space at this point, has something to kind of point to. Nick, what was your reaction to the news?
I mean, I posted a tweet about it that got me some engagement, and I'm all about those Twitter impressions. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was a solid thing. You had to take the Luca picture was a key part of the tweets when you posted them, and so you wanted to make sure that that was on there to show your respects and that you stand with the Pudgy team. That this is big for Web3.
You stand with the team. That's a funny way of putting it.
It's stand. You gotta stand, Pio. And in this case, I mean, in all honesty, like to get in the stores of Walmart in a short period of time is just kind of insane. So looks like you're having a conversation with your dog.
No, I'm listening to you.
I will say, did you see? I was like chasing to try to find some of the FUD about it. I will say, like, there, because I didn't see much, so that was a nice part.
People were like, half the tweets were like,
"If you're fudding this, leave Web3. Me." And I was like, I couldn't find any of the FUD, but then I found FUD. I went, Gainsey, the popular Twitter account, gambler, the whole aspect. He posted, and he's like historically cynical towards NFTs, and even he was like, "This is pretty dope. Like, this is not an easy thing to do."
Wait, so that wasn't a FUD story.
Let me finish the story, Nick. All right. I'm only halfway through. So then I scrolled to his comments, and my God, dude, the amount of comments in there that were like, "What does this do for the NFT?" was alarming. The number of people in those comments, if you scroll down, there's like, but after the first like 4 or 5, which are all Pudgy holders, you get into the ones like right there. It's progress, but ultimately these companies need to enable NFT holders to function as equity holders. And he's like, I know that is a security, but you need to just make a security. And then some of the others were like, what does it do for the NFT? Some were like, this is cool and all, but nobody wants your $10,000 picture after buying an $8 plushie toy. So I was like, are you serious? Like, I thought the FUD was like just kind of like ridiculous, because to me, it's more like we talk about these IP plays and no one actually building IP. They've really taken it a massive step up and are building IP. Like, this is front and center at 20% of Walmarts across the country. That's huge.
I feel like the Russian bots are really invading. I was thinking about it. Like, what if most of Twitter engagement in the Web3 space is bots in Russia to all make us like they're doing some like mind manipulation around us that like actually there are no haters because those people don't exist. What if those are just like not even real people? What if they're just fake? And so, Twitter has not been succeeding at the bot clampdown. In fact, my every tweet now has some crypto scam associated with it. Those are my first repliers. I just had some random person. Anyways, the bottom line is, Yeah, shout out to Pudgy. Yo, if you're fading this, man, you gotta leave Web3. That's like literally the tweet thread. I saw it on Thread Guy. I saw it on Farouk. I saw it on basically everybody. It was like lecturing me, lecturing us on how we're fading Web3, and I'm like, yo, I don't need you to lecture me, okay? I'm saying, yo, great job. This guy did. Someone replied, they were like, you still questioning the $10 million in revenue? Here's the crazy thing. Yes. It's not that I question whether or not whether or not they're going to be able to hit their targets, because I would not underestimate Luca and team's ability to execute on anything at this point. The fact that they got in Walmart is insane. I don't know what if they sell 100% of these. I don't know how much revenue that generates. Like, is it $1.5 million? Is it $2 million? I don't know.
I feel like it's got to be pretty substantial, to be honest. The other thing I saw too was Adam Cochran, the known like threador who writes like 70-piece threads on Twitter, had a really interesting post about it, because even he was giving flowers to the Pudgy ecosystem, and I actually really enjoyed his take, because he was like, I actually wanted to buy the Neopets IP after their bankruptcy, and he's like, I wanted to buy that, but the reason I stopped was because when I started getting into the weeds on it, they told me their toys were not able to be sold in Walmart. And that was, to me, was really interesting, because Neopets was massive. Like, I'm talking hands down one of the biggest IPs, early 2000s, movies, TV shows, whole nine, tons of physical toys. And he was like, not just a pallet program, which is even harder to do because you're not in an aisle amongst a bunch of other toys. A pallet program means you're in the walkway where everyone has to go past it. So way more walkroom visibility. And that to me was like really surprising, because Neopets, with the rise that they had and obviously the inevitable fall, to then see Adam Cochran be like, we couldn't even get Neopets in, which made me stop the deal. You also saw Spencer post at some VCs, didn't believe Luca would pull this off in under a year, and now we're experiencing FOMO from it. It's just a huge win, because it seems like everyone who comes from retail has openly said getting into Walmart is so difficult to do in general, and doing it in less than a year for a new IP is massive.
Spencer individually talked with 10,000 people yesterday who were actually FOMOing into his own portfolio. It was crazy.
Wow.
So like, that's actually something that's really fascinating. But the thing I was going to say, the pallet thing, you're definitely right. The weird thing about, so like those pallet things are known as actually the things that get people in the store. So you'll see like a pillow for $2, basically. A lot of those things are really like discounted products. And that does appear to be what the case was here. $8.99. Wait, sorry. So it's $8.99 for an.
So it varies by store. So I've seen $6.50 to $8.99. It's based on, and this was a question I had yesterday. It was like, how come even internally in stores there's varying prices? I guess it's determined based on where the warehouse is located to the physical store, dictates pricing.
That's one of the variables. Walmart actually has one of the biggest data science teams and systems like in all of retail. They actually at one point had more information on U.S. consumer data than the U.S. government did. Wow. And I think they still may. It has to do with the fact that they also track weather patterns and other things associated to adjust dynamic pricing. So they're pretty insane with their data systems, as well as actually the negotiation process. Because I was looking into this, it used to be one of the toughest, like in business school, they used to teach about like, or at least the school that I was at, they would teach you about sort of the negotiating process in Bentonville, how it's sort of a rite of passage to actually go out to this place to have the negotiations with Walmart. Now, a lot of it is generated by AI. There's like a Harvard Business Review article about the whole AI negotiation. So I'd be curious to hear from Luca how, like, what his experience was with those actual negotiations and the process involved with that. It also seems like, and I think I'd mentioned this to you all yesterday. I don't know if we discussed it on the show, but if you watch the video that they had, like it went from like one moment of them not having any idea of what, like it seemed like the deal was gone, to then having the deal. I also wonder how they like shot that video, like like over what duration that video was shot. Like if they really have all that documentation, or they sort of like kind of recreated the moment. But the bottom line was, it does seem like the the deal was not a possibility. And then once they had the sellout on Amazon, it was a big deal. I also see a lot of people posting pictures of them loading up their carts to, quote, do their part to help with the sell through. And that's really the other thing. This right here is also huge. The number of impressions that they got on that Walmart Twitter account. I was looking at how many impressions each post on Walmart has. This one has 400,000. But if you compare their other posts, it's like 35,000. So there's like a lot of positive things for Walmart. My biggest takeaway is like, you know, it's one thing to, I don't know that they're going to be a staple of like Walmart. I have no clue. I don't know what it requires to be like perma-stocked on the shelf. And I do not operate in the toy industry. But my assumption is that like the real goal here is how do you get Q4 placement prominently of toys? Like that's like the main thing. And your goal typically is to become like the main thing. I forget what's that Sesame Street character that
Tickle Me Elmo.
Tickle Me Elmo. So
yeah, the number one toy, baby. I went through the whole FBA cycle. I had an FBA store that was predominantly focused on toys, and that Christmas cycle was crazy. Like the volume and uptick in toys during like mid-November through end of December is absolutely electric. Like instant sellouts, long wait times. And it's basically anything that drops exclusively from halfway, like right around Black Friday to halfway through January. If it's even limited at all, you're getting 5-10x on the actual value, and it's impossible to get.
I mean, regardless, like I have no idea what the revenue for their business is, and that's not really the biggest deal about this whole thing. It's really they accomplished something insane in a short period of time. And from the investor standpoint, it's saying, wow, like they legitimately accomplished something. And I don't know, and like there's also all these photos of like Bored Ape clothes on discount racks at Target or wherever the hell it was.
That's also Walmart.
Okay, so that's at Walmart. There was also pictures of VFriends like stocked like on the discount table to try and get them liquidated. Look, there's a major distinction here between those two things, though. Pudgy is able to bring a massive marketing engine associated with them to their brand and to the retail environment. And I think that that's the main story here. I have no idea how the IP play is going to happen, but the bottom line is they're doing it. So like your only option is to either say like, I don't think that IP is going to be a major thing with NFTs, or wow, like these people are really doing something. Or the take that Farouk and Thread Guy have is just like so this is him saying.
Yeah, I wanted to share this real quick because I thought this was interesting. For the people listening, Daniel got hits. He has a podcast, has a good amount of followers on Twitter. He was saying that Pudgy Penguins will get acquired by Nintendo or Disney or whatever for like 500 million. But basically, it's where does that value actually drive for the NFT holders? And essentially, the NFT holders don't have any ownership in the company. They have ownership in the IP, and where does the value drive to in these situations?
Well, look, the stance that they've taken is that us building a business is better for holders than not. And I'm going to agree with that. And that's kind of the approach that we've taken internally.
What I was going to say is this is actually what this really is, from my perspective, is the first time that the NFT market and NFT audience has been accepting of an NFT business or an NFT brand building a business. There hasn't really been another example where building a business has been welcomed with open arms. You still have a very small percentage of the audience saying, what does it do for the NFT? But the reality is, I view it, I said this in an internal meeting the other day, the ship has sailed. The ship is now leaving the dock and it's going out into the Atlantic Ocean to Antarctica, actually, is where it's going, to go with all the other penguins and hang out in the igloos, because now they're just a toy company forever, and the more toys they sell, the reason, think about it like this, if they're making 10 million, 20 million, 30 million dollars a year in revenue off selling toys, they just buy all the NFTs. And I don't think Luca would ever tell you that, right? But they could just go and buy the NFTs and set a floor. So I'm just saying, like, this is the first time I think that the NFT market is like, oh, wait a minute, it's good that somebody builds a business, which is obviously a phenomenal thing, because if you don't build a business, then you don't have any revenue, no capital, no runway, and that's the end of that. So that's the way I'm thinking about it. Pretty simple.
Okay, well, I don't like the idea of them buying their NFTs personally.
I was just an extreme angle on it. Like, they now have, let's say they sell $30 million worth of toys. People go, what does it do for the NFTs? If they wanted, they could click a button and boom, set a floor for the NFT. Luca would never say that. I'm not saying they would ever do that. But if I give the most extreme take, like the most hardcore, brutal take, you can just do that. So I'm just saying, not that they would, but I'm saying that's like a very extreme scenario, but it's possible once you actually have a business.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, a bigger deal is you can never satisfy PFP holders. Like, there's no way you can actually satisfy them, except for price go up. But like, there's literally nothing you can do. You can give them money, and they say thank you, and they floor it. Like, there's no value from outside of the true holders and believers, of which I can say you can make that cohort happy, but the speculators you can't, which is why their take is completely irrelevant. Like, if someone is a trader, and you can spell it both ways, TRADER or TRADEOR, it's the same thing, basically. Traders and traders are both the exact same scenario, and because they have no loyalty to the brand whatsoever, and also the take of the people that don't own the NFT that are providing FUD also are of little value. Like, it doesn't literally mean anything. The only thing that's interesting is yesterday, look, it was a guaranteed like 20,000 impressions if you gave Luca his props. So, I mean, get out there, do your part, get those impressions. You know what I'm saying?
Well, last thing, I didn't get to chime in on the FUD thing. I didn't see any actual negative response on Twitter anywhere. I saw a lot of people saying, like, what Nick said, if y'all are FUDing, blah, blah, blah. I never saw any FUD. I know that we ended up digging some up here and showing it on the screen. The only negative comment I saw was, of all people, it was from the co-founder of Artifact. Was the only one with his tweet of, from Sotheby's to Walmart, like, is this what we're doing? So I was actually very surprised to see that. Here you go. Like, this is the little slight out of all of them. It's the only one I saw. I didn't see any other slights besides this one. Bunny has his hand raised. Bunny, what's going on, amigo?
I think he was trying to not even slight Pudgy's, but that was more of like a whole end. Like, we started in Sotheby's and now we're in Walmart, right? I think he was trying to make a joke, and he's French, so nobody got it. But two things. What I've been doing with the Pudgy toys, I've been going to the Walmarts where they're $6.50, and then I drive over to the Walmart where it's $8.50, right? And I return them all. I'm getting $2 a pop on these things, a great arbitrage opportunity. And then also, like, when I buy these things, right, I've been checking the chain, man. I want to know who owns the NFT before I buy their plushie, right? Because if Cole owns one of those things, like, I'm not buying Cole's penguin toy, dude. Like, no way. He's not getting another penny out of me.
Right. So, okay. So, Bunny, I love this strategy. Number one, you got this arbitrage of buying a plushie at one Walmart and then returning it. I'm assuming you don't present the receipt though, right? You just say,
can't.
Yeah.
No, you throw that thing out. You tell me you lost it.
You lost the receipt. So you get, I mean, this arbitrage, any NFT trader would want to sink their teeth into this. Let me tell you, you're talking about $2 gains for driving from one Walmart to another. I know a whole bunch of.
We got a lot of Solana listeners, Pia.
I know a lot of people that want to sink their teeth into that. But then the second one, I love that you are making sure that the wrong people don't get royalties. You're like, hey, do you want my 4-cent royalty on this $8 sale? Go F yourself. Am I right?
You put a cute toy like on your desk or something, it turns out to be a grifter. Like, what could be worse than that?
Took the whole palette and like rolled it out of the Walmart and then returned a whole pallet.
Pushed it over.
Bunny's rented a U-Haul, a hand
got a
jack, the whole
forklift.
nine. Yeah.
He's got a
Driving the
forklift.
forklift to and from down the road. He's on top of it. He's like, my net profit here is about $350. Post forklift, we're good to go. I've been doing it all day.
I think the idea, well, just in case you're wondering, Bunny, so A, this is phenomenal arbitrage, and this is the best way to be an NFT ecosystem participant. B, I think Walmart will be super excited if 50% of the Pudgies get returned. It's going to be really good for their sell-through rate.
I literally want to pull up to Walmart with a forklift to make a video on this. Bunny, that's just a brilliant idea. We got to get Bunny into content brainstorms moving forward. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fun conversation to kick things off with. Today, we're going to discuss the recent uptick in NFT-related announcements. We're going to talk about the Legends of Mara, one of the latest gaming releases from Yuga Labs, and the quasi-underwhelming start that they've had. And then, obviously, we'll touch upon Pudgy's success and what it means for NFT holders of successful NFT businesses. Before we dive into the weather report, which Nick is going to read today because we don't have signal, we don't have kick, so it'll be a Nick day on the weather report. Everybody loves the Nick weather reports, ladies and gentlemen.
A Nick weather report, you know what I'm saying? Dude,
does he? Okay, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I know you want to conserve your energy and stuff, so I didn't know if, Nick doesn't want the Nick weather report. But anyway,
bring 110% to this, and then I'm just going to leave the show.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, look, today's episode is brought to you in partnership with now a 3-time partner of the NFT Morning Show. Absolutely love partnering with the folks over at Bicycle Playing Cards. So this is the iconic 138-year-old brand. You probably have Bicycle Playing Cards in your apartment or in your home right now. 138-year-old icon brand that is back again following the release of their highly anticipated collaboration with who else? Bored Ape Yacht Club, to announce that they are headed to Hong Kong to join the Made by Apes bodega at Ape Fest. We're not going to get mad at Bored Ape Yacht Club over using bodega, so don't worry about it. But anyway, Ape Fest will be the world's
exercise for Easy over here.
I know that's actually very impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, on the YouTube show, Easy actually has all 3 of his Bored Ape Yacht Club bicycle card packs pressed together, and it's pretty impressive. I feel like his core is probably pretty engaged right now. But anyway, and Nick's got it coming too. I got mine too. I got to get through the chat. All right, I'm going to hold them up. I'm going to do two at once. Clemente, let's do an even balance here because me and Nick have better lighting, and we want these to be shown in full glory. Here we go. Jeez. Okay. Well, anyway, Ape Fest will be the world's very first opportunity to get their hands on this very exclusive collection and to build a little hype. They've sent us these first prototype prints of the real card decks. We got them on screen right now. Clemente, why don't you screenshot what we have on screen? Everybody hold a different one. Nick's got the pink one. I got the blue. I got the blue one. Easy. Can you hold up the red one? And Clemente, can you screenshot it and tweet it out for the X audience, the Twitter Spaces audience? If you haven't already, be sure to get your Bored Ape Yacht Club card deck at bicyclecards.com/silverbanana. So I'm sure Clemente will tweet that out, pin it to the Twitter Spaces, throw it on the YouTube screen. That's bicyclecards.com/silverbanana. Really pumped about another collab. Talk about a legendary brand, 138-year-old brand collabing with NFT intellectual property. This is what it's all about. Super dope card deck. Whip this out at a party. You're basically just going to get rich. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to the link. Check out the partner for today's show, Bicycle Card. Nick, don't eat your deck. No, it's not edible. It's not edible, gentlemen.
No, hold on 1 sec.
No.
I'm practicing for my QVC moment.
All righty. I'm gonna Nick, why don't you hit the weather report? I'm gonna shut my window. Someone's got a weed whacker outside. I feel like the audio's bleeding in.
You can't hear it.
All right, fine. It's cool.
Stay strong.
It's just bothering me. Stay strong. Okay, Nick, weather report, please.
Market volume, 12 million. How do we add this up? Because Blur is 6.6, OpenSea is 3.4.
You're missing the good stuff, Nick.
Where's
You're missing the
remaining
good
coming
stuff.
Looks rare,
DraftKings
does like a mil.
Rainmakers. So rare. You got Mythos blockchain, which is the CSGO and NFL Rivals. Shockingly, the top 5 collections were Mythos, Rainmakers, So Rare, and I forget what the 4th one was. Oh,
It's
and,
all gaming
Pudgies.
and sports, baby.
Yeah.
It's all gaming and sports. Let's go.
Blur 6.6, OpenSea 3.4, Friendtech 8. NFTs back on top. Let's go. Looking at the large caps, D-Gods are down to 3.1, Milady's 2.1, Pudgies, it says, are up at 5.2, but I don't think that's true. I feel like it came down.
They rallied today. They rallied this morning.
Again.
Yeah, they dipped to 4.8 last night, right back up to 5.2 overnight. Asia woke up, is what they were saying.
Okay, well, there we go. A good old Asia waking up. Other movers include Sugartown Oras down 20% to 0.2 ahead of today's staking. Wrecked Guy up 18% and Killer Bears up 19%. Remember them? Over the past 24 hours, Pudgy Penguins announced they're entering a brave new world in Walmart. As Pudgy toys are now available in 2,000 Walmart stores across the United States. If you've been listening to this show, you're already aware of that. The announcement initially led to a small dump, then a small pump, then a small dump, now back to another pump. We call that the pump and dumping, or we also call it, it almost sounds erotic. I'm going to be honest. Pudgy Penguins are above 5 ETH for the first time since their May Amazon rally, and Lil Pudgies are up 11%. On that erotic note, have you guys seen that TV show where the dating show where the people are naked?
There's a dating show where people are naked?
It's brand new. It's like Naked and Afraid.
It was in the UK. It got brought onto onto Max. We watched half an episode of it last night. It was intolerable. Like, you cannot watch it. Like, literally they go up and they're like, all right.
Is it blurred out?
No. Full blown. Like, and they start with the genitals and
HBO.
So like a woman walks up and it's like, all right, let's go take a look. Literally the announcer's like, let's go take a look at some of these men. And like, she sticks with the guys, the biggest penis ends up winning the, getting the date.
And then the most well endowed.
Okay, biggest penis. And then they go to afterwards to stick with the dating show vibe. They get a clip of them at a bar with them clothed, with them being like, hi, nice to meet you. And the other person being like, hi, nice to meet you. And they're like, should we go on a second date? And she's like, yeah, we should go on a second date. There was no conversation, like no conversation. And then they get the clip 3 months later, and it's like both them on the couch and they're like smiling. And it's like, let's just say we've been getting intimate. Like, like the whole, it's one of the most disturbing things. I cannot watch it. So sorry about that. Pudgy Penguin somehow became erotic, and then I discussed that.
How did that come on?
Has announced that starting October 16th, they'll decline all crypto-related payments and investments from users' accounts, citing that fraudsters are increasingly using crypto to steal large sums of money from people. Okay. And they're keeping people's money safe.
Well, I did say, I mean, never mind. I mean, look, I did see this. You had called this out like when we first started the business 2 years ago. You were like, I'm nervous about Chase Bank when it comes to crypto stuff.
Set up a Bank of America account just as a diversification measure, just to ensure that we can get a deposit, like money still flowing. Worst case scenario. But the other thing associated with that, what I laugh at is them protecting people's money, because like, one of the main scams is older people that get preyed on, where they like people call up, fish them, and suddenly like they have them withdraw $30,000 of cash from the bank to go deposit it somewhere. The bank doesn't stop you from doing that. So like,
right.
This is one of the most ridiculous statements ever. Legends of Mara went live yesterday, but not without its bugs. Users had to do another burn, this time a vessel for an ODA, which could be integrated into your other deed land. By the way, I saw that you can't sell them on OpenSea. They got
ODAs?
Yeah, they're only sellable on Blur right now.
Other side also claimed that there were too many Maras hatching for their servers, and the game was down multiple times yesterday. Others also cited the complexity with the ecosystem. As Mano said, at this stage, I have no idea what these posts reference it, and I'm too afraid to ask, which I will be like, I actually know what they're referencing, but actually, yeah, this is a valid point. This other side post, you don't know what it's referencing. That is a good point. Lastly, the SEC is taking a page out of the D-Gods playbook as they delayer.
Who wrote that?
Delayed.
Did you write that?
Delayed.
Delayed their another Bitcoin ETF. Well, I don't even understand what this sentence.
I must have been wrong.
The SEC delayed the Bitcoin ETF to January. U.S. Congress has requested Gary Gensler, and the SEC pushes it ahead. Those are the two main focal points around the Bitcoin ETF.
I mean, maybe I'm Ron Burgundy over here, and I'm just
I did it wrong. The digest mishap this morning had me bamboozled, and my usual allocation for
he was
getting the
panicked
show ready
this morning, and I'm out here coding stuff on the server. So Test Tube Ted making fun of me for vulnerable to scams targeting elderly senior citizens. My mom was one of those victims, Test Tube Ted.
But you fixed it. You got it all taken care of, big dog.
We did. And actually, you know who really took care of it? Homeland Security. Homeland Security showed up to my mom's house and knocked on her door and said, we saw that you had fallen victim to this scam. I didn't take care of it, actually. I mean, I had her call UPS, but I was like, time is of the essence. We need to get to this. I wanted to go to the UPS fulfillment facility, but then I was like, man, these scammers, there's no doubt that they have a relationship with some people in the UPS facility there in Texas. Texas is where all these scams are happening. Shout out to Texas. Yeah, that's where it's all going. We also got the newsletter going on here. Pio, I'm going to throw the ball to you, then you throw it back. I'm going to catch it. I'm going to spike that ball, and I'm going to do whatever I want.
Can't promise I'm going to throw it back, big dog. Ladies and gentlemen, updates from the Daily Digest. This is posted to X every single morning. It's pinned up top. You can also subscribe at thenifty.com. First story, VFriends has announced a partnership with Mattel's Masters of the Universe to sell $45 collectibles packs featuring Mattel's Skeletor and VFriends Skilled Skeleton. These are available for pre-order up to October 6th, so continued sales of physical collectibles. Vayner Sports, another story coming out of the Vayner ecosystem. Vayner Sports Pass has announced VSP Rewards Season 0, featuring live experiences, custom items, and event access as literally possible rewards. Artifact co-founder receiving, this is Benito, caught backlash. This is what I referenced earlier. We don't have to talk about it again. Not surprised he caught backlash.
You little bitch.
Okay. Adam, we already did the Adam Weitzman $1.6 million golden key story. Excuse me. This is a different Adam. Too many Adams. Adam Cochran, Adam Weitzman, too many Adams.
This is the same Adam Weitzman who did buy the golden key, though.
You gotta be
Adam Cochran's the threader, but Adam Weitzman now bought this mega coda for an exorbitant amount of money. I was surprised it got a full press release. I'm going to be honest about that. That one kind of caught me a little bit off guard.
The press release has to do because I think they're promoting this other DEX thing, which was something that I was not familiar with, but which is an other side, like marketplace that this guy's an investor in.
Oh, interesting.
Makes sense. Forbes named the top creators for 2023, featuring Mr. Beast at number 1, KSI at number 2, Jake Paul at number 3. Nick agrees with Mr. Beast being number 1. Last one. Excuse me.
That's the thing I'm trying to figure out, dude. Like, what's going on here?
Sorry?
Why weren't we on this list?
I agree.
I reached out to our contact over there, and he responded, "Who are you?" So we made some progress.
That is those are your updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Make sure you subscribe at thenifty.com or just check out the Nifty on X, since I know a lot of folks are sticking on X 24/7. Check it out there. Look, Sugartown Oras staking starts today. You want to continue?
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering if you're skipping that last one. That actually is an interesting story.
Hit it, buddy.
that Alix Cooper, the call her daddy girl, she has apparently a podcast network, Unwell Network, and I guess her first podcast. I don't know. Maybe it's not her first. I don't pay attention to her all that much. But Alix Earle. Why don't they just call this the Alix Network? Wait, are those all the women on the network? So this is Hot Girl Network. Damn. Okay, so this is the Hot Girl Podcast Network. Yeah, it does look like it. Okay. All right. Well, look. Turns out people like listening to pay attention to hot women online. So that's what's going on here. Alix Earle, her new podcast debuts at #1 on Spotify. I have no idea who Alix Earle is, but I think it's impressive that that the podcast is #1. That is the impressive thing here, and that's a pretty big deal.
I watched it. It's just her like talk. She's in college. She's like 22, big TikToker, and she just like talks. She was like, "Yeah, so my college class ran late today, and I had a date at 4, and my class was like finishing at 3:55, and so I didn't get to do my hair." That's literally she's just sitting in her bedroom doing it.
Are you mocking Alix's content, Clemente?
No,
You're similar age to her, and I don't see you describing the minutia of your day and dethroning Joe Rogan as the top podcaster.
She's crushing it. Hey, shout out to Alix. Clearly doing something right if she has that many people watching that content.
Yeah, she's gonna see this.
All that Clemente is saying is that the content's stupid, and I agree, dude. I mean, I haven't even listened to it, and based on the way you describe it, I mean, this is just unfortunate. It turns out that you also now need to be hot to run a radio show that's successful. This is where we fucked up. So this is the giant mistake. Apparently, you now need to be attractive to host a podcast. Is there any media area in the world now available for people who aren't hot blondes?
Newsletters.
Newsletters, Nick.
Next thing you know, that's who's going to take over the newsletter market, and there's going to be nothing left for us.
We got a face for newsletters. Apparently, it used to be face for radio. The internet changed that. Now it's a face for a newsletter. Can't wait until it's just AI hot people doing newsletters. Look, moving on. We got Sugartown Oras staking starting today. So Sugartown staking and gameplay is expected to be launching soon. The collection, however, is actually down 20% in the past 24 hours to 0.2 ETH, down from its all-time high of 0.4 ETH. Did everybody just sell their Sugartown Oras and put the money into Pudgy Penguins? Is that what happened? Everyone forgot about Sugartown.
Pivoted the money into Block Games, actually, which is 0.11, a game publisher that had a fumble on the initial mint. It was another free mint. So it seemed like people had cycled liquidity into that. I still think that there's a lot of potential upside with Sugartown's game going live Friday, running to October 2nd. So a tournament over the weekend, which to me is more interesting. So there's a couple key things as well going down here where Block Games, free NFT, similar to Sugartown, free NFT. The gaming sector is what's completely dominating at the moment. We're seeing it across everything, even outside the space. Like we had a long talk about Rainmakers this morning, the DraftKings NFT. And it seems like the stuff that's either an idle game. We've seen raises from proof of play. We've seen a whole bunch of other stuff continue to gain traction, specifically from the gaming front. And I think that's where we continue to see it. I'm curious to watch how staking affects price action if they come out with a longer form content, because usually that is a positive, especially if there's some point system that you gain an edge in the upcoming tournament. I think that'll lead to it because they have teased that if you own multiple, the rewards do stack, the number of plays stack. So I think that could drive some volatile price action on the underlying if it rolls out smoothly today.
I mean,
I like it. Real quick, the one thing that I did like about the gaming like the Iskra, the sponsor we had yesterday, is that you don't need an NFT to actually play. Like I was comparing that to other sides, like launch of Legends of the Mara, and like all of the different things you need to do to just play the game is so wild to me. Compared to literally yesterday, I jumped on and just started playing the game randomly. There's no wallet conversation. No, hey, you need to burn this NFT to turn it into that. So I like it. I mean, I don't know if it sounds like you don't need the NFT to play the game at some point, like eventually might evolve. Correct me if I'm wrong, for Sugartown Easy, like in order to participate in the leaderboard and to get bonuses, but you don't need the NFT to actually play the game.
So I think this is their first rollout of the game. I think you will need one because it is like a beta rollout, but I think longer term there won't be a need for the NFT to play these games. I think they give you like that premier access, which is what I think we end up seeing across the gaming verticals and cycles here is the NFTs will be like the premier level access to these games, whereas free to play players are going to be able to participate across the board. And that's the bigger thing. Like that is how you get a user base and growing an ecosystem is that free to play method versus making everyone buy an NFT or multiple NFTs and try to navigate a comprehensive ecosystem that's littered with all these confusing terminologies and names. Whereas instead it's like, click this link, connect your Google account, play a game. Like that is the most straightforward, simplistic way to do it. It reminds me of the Farmville days and like what Zynga crushed on Facebook was people literally just logged into their Facebook, added the app to their profile and played the game. And that was how they like managed it all. So I think that's kind of like what angle we're going to be seeing here. Whereas if you want that secondary access, more gameplay, more exposure, that's where they shift you into like the Web3 side of it.
Is the game good?
We won't know till Friday. So the games, we haven't seen anything from the game yet.
Well, speaking of games, is Yuga's gaming ecosystem getting too complex? So yesterday, Yuga launched the Legends of Mara game, right? So they've been talking about this for what, 4, 5, 6 months, featuring another burn. And this time, we mentioned this earlier, you burn an other side vessel for an Oda, which is placed in their other side land. And so outside, there were some technical issues, typical kind of launch stuff. Many are also claiming that their gaming ecosystem is at this point too complex. There's the heavy metal game, the Legends of Mara game, and then the other side game. Obviously, we haven't seen other side yet. So the question is, my thing is like, there's a lot of NFTs associated with all these games. And we have yet to figure out whether or not, the NFTs are really going to be like the kind of, like, is it better to just make a game that people want to play, or do you have to just layer 60,000 NFTs into it? That's the way I'm thinking about it, Nick.
60,000 NFTs. Yeah, you got to, first, what you want to do is you want to start off with a bunch of hype announcements. Then what you want to do is you want to go develop a complicated game that I still can't fucking figure out. And then what you're going to want to do after that is launch another game before that game is done. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing at this point in the ecosystem. It's not clear to me what steps I'm supposed to take at all at this point within all this stuff. Am I supposed to be playing Legends of Mara? Heavy metal? I don't know what to do. Like, I literally do not know what to do. Spencer posted something where he's like, okay, so what you want to go do is, he had some strategy thing. I tried to follow it and it didn't accomplish. You then go to forge things, but you got a chance that your forge fails. So you go and collect items and then the forging doesn't work. I failed 2 times in a row and I was just like, okay, this is dumb. Like, I can't do anything here. I haven't managed to forge anything.
That's the issue with Legends of Mara too. It's like, dude, if you only have one vessel and don't want to spend Ape Coin, it takes 7 days to actually play the game, or you have to spend $45. So you connect your vessel, it takes 7 days to hatch. To speed it up, you have to spend $45 worth of Ape Coin, which obviously is like a deterrent to many people who have spent 0.165 to 0.17 on the vessel piece itself. So in order to hatch those, it's another $45 plus gas. You're in for about $50-$60 just to then get into the gameplay. To speed up any of it, they've tried to introduce all these like syncs. Now you have all these people getting the good rewards because they have a bunch of Ape Coin and a bunch of vessels, speeding it up. It just becomes like a whale game. And honestly, like, I had a good conversation yesterday with the gaming project.
Idle games work, though, dude. Like, that's like.
But this is where the tough part of the balance for Web3 comes into play, because it's like you want to still get exposure for people who aren't whales. And what I was going to say was, it's actually where we saw like Wolf Game struggle. Wolf Game garnered massive attention because anyone could participate early on, but then it shifted to just a whale game. And we're kind of seeing the same here with Legends of Mara.
And when you talk about idle games, dude, the majority of people, if Pudgy's approach is the right approach, which is one of the approaches, the other one would be Artifact, and Artifact makes high-end, collectible products that for consumers, limited run though. And then you have on the other end, you have the Pudgy mass adoption side of things. Where Yuga sits right now is not clear. And I think that that's the thing that like a lot of people were talking about mass adoption, that if you're going the Pudgy route, which is saying, hey, we're going to go into Walmart and we're going to have our toys everywhere. The same thing needs to happen on the game front where it's actually accessible. If you're making it for high-end people who have money, you still need to make the game dynamic where all of those people want to play. And I don't know, it is too early to say though, and that's the thing where like I'm curious to see if there is some cohort. At least Wolf Game did get a cohort of people to keep playing and paying. So I mean, that is something that they accomplished. I don't know,
dude. To say Pudgy Penguins are approaching mass adoption better than Yuga is like laughable. Like there's literally a Bored Ape performance on the VMAs. Like Snoop Dogg, one of the biggest artists in the world, is creating an ice cream company like behind his fucking ape. Like I don't think that it's, dude. They've been in Walmart for one day. Like,
well, and they're already in Yuga. I mean, that's it. That's the situation. So hold on. Where's the ice cream? Where do I go buy it?
Walmart. No, I don't know if it's Walmart.
It is Walmart. It is Walmart.
I'm going to arbitrage the ice cream. I just hope it doesn't melt from one Walmart to the next.
Remember when I said, the hardest part of opening a burger shop is buying a $350,000 NFT? Which is like, that point still stands. It's just like, what I don't understand. Like the Bored Ape itself doesn't add any sort of value.
You could say the same thing for Pudgy Penguins. Somebody buying a $6 toy, like that doesn't mean that they're gonna go home, play with that toy, and then like make sure that their parents download MetaMask and load up $5,000 of ETH and buy a Pudgy Penguin. It's the same argument. Like it's like I don't get it.
All the parents are sweeping the floor on Pudgy Penguins, Bunny. You don't know what you're talking about. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind everyone that today's show is brought to you in partnership with Bicycle Playing Cards. This is our three-peat, our third time partnering with Bicycle Playing Cards, the iconic brand, over 135-year-old brand, 138 to be exact. And specifically, we're talking about their collection of Bored Ape Yacht Club playing cards. You want to talk about IP distribution? Here it is. I mean, these are really, really dope covers. You can see them on the YouTube stream. I'm sure Clemente will take a screenshot or something and pin it. Nick, they're not edible. Stop trying to eat them. The team at Bicycle is taking their card show on the road and popping up at Ape Fest Hong Kong Bodega, and they're bringing their limited edition collectible card sheets along with them to give apes their very first opportunity to take the physical collection home. Anyone at Ape Fest that shows their proof of purchase will receive their uncut card sheet live and in person. Very cool stuff. Very frameable. That would be very cool. Uncut sheet and card decks are still available at bicyclecards.com/silverbanana, and visit their Twitter at Bicycle Cards for more information. Really pumped to partner with them again.
It fits in your pocket. It fits in the front pocket there. So if as you go out to do that magic trick, you pull it out. This is how we get mass adoption. There on the cover of the Bicycle card is a Bored Ape, and people say, "What is that?" And I say, "You got to go buy a Bored Ape to participate in this magic trick. Go spend $50,000 right now." So then you go spend the $50,000. And then what I do is I deliver the magic trick. Basically, you can't see the pack, right? There's no, you can't even see it. Boom, there it is, right? Like that's what happened. Magic.
David Blaine, that was pretty impressive. That magic trip. Look, last thing on the other side ecosystem, I feel for Yuga on this in the sense that they put out so many digital assets in such a short period of time. I wonder whether they're optimizing right now for a really great game, or they're optimizing to try to make a very complex and high supply digital asset ecosystem work. Do you know what I mean? Like Nick, think about how much baggage is associated with some of these games now. I don't know. Am I out to lunch on that?
Between just Legends of Mara, dude, there's 180,000 assets. Like, right, 100K lands, 80,000 vessels on top of
ape coin.
20,000 mutants,
Trying
10,000 dogs, 10,000 board apes, another
jam ape coin in?
200,000 rec league items. The list goes on and on. Ape coin in there is the currency for the ecosystem. I'm definitely missing some others too. Like,
Bunny has his hand raised.
Yeah, I completely out to lunch. How else would you? I don't understand. Even their worst NFT is holding better value than 99% of NFTs. So I think literally just that the fact that like the cheapest NFT you can get is over $200 when there's so many assets. Like it shows that they're doing it right or it's working.
There you have it. Bunny defending.
There's still more in the last 24 hours. Vessels is a top 10 collection, right? So there's still more demand for them than almost any other NFT in the market.
Got it. Well, look, I have over a half a dozen vessels, so I hope that there's demand for the vessels. I haven't played Legends of Mara, nor will I, but we'll have to see what happens. Next story, can Memeland have a comeback in October? So the team from Memeland held a Discord AMA and Ask Me Anything yesterday, and first owned up to what they're describing as several mistakes that created too high of expectations, like the art reveal. They also shared that Meme Coin is expected to launch in October. They're in negotiation with market makers and exchanges for the token. After launching, they will begin focusing on building out the social fi use cases and product. Also, they'll be working on building gmgm.com, which will help creators reach their fans more effectively. Easy, how do you view the current situation with Memeland? What are your expectations going into October here?
please God, just send it back above 4 ETH so I can exit. Like that's all I want, man. That's it. Like, I think we will get it. I don't know when, but I think like we talked about it a little bit this morning as well. I think the interesting thing is like what the market cap ends up being. That's where a lot of people are speculating right now, obviously, and where it goes from there. But dude, that market cap, like I think if they launched this in June, it would have been $1 billion market cap. Now I'm like, if we can get to 150 million, I'll be ecstatic. You know, like that's a big fall off just because the meme coin mania has really started to slow, and it's gonna be tough. But like, if I'm gonna bet on one person to at least draw some action back, I think I'm comfortable betting on Ray here. I think he's done a damn good job so far with it, and 9gag being like an actual company before this, I think there's opportunity. But I'm just worried because it's like this is taking a very long time, and obviously the space moves so quickly. I hope the speculation drives the price action back up going into the release. I'm scared. I'm scared, Pio.
Well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not even like having faith in Ray. Like, I have faith in Ray 1,000%. I love having him on the show. He really gets it. But that kind of doesn't matter when it comes to price, right? It's like whether or not the market decides that this is the thing that they want to plow money into. And the other thing is that NFTs, like when NFTs pump, it's a lot of times it's kind of like a hit song. And it's like, how likely is it that that hit song is going to become popular again? And so the hit song period of Memeland was when it hit a 10 Ethereum floor. It was a hit song at that time for sure. That was a run basically from 1 ETH to 10 over I don't know how many month period. Making it a hit song again is not easy. Like, the song Yeah by Usher isn't suddenly going to be #1 again. The year is in 2004, guys. Like, what are we talking about here? Nick, you're deep in thought. What are you thinking about it, amigo?
You don't want to know, Pio.
One of the things I was thinking about is it's so obvious and clear that Ray Chan from 9gag he's been able to build such a successful business in 9gag and is crushing in that department. And seeing him try to like navigate this NFT ecosystem, it's like it's clear that he's not struggling, but that it's not easy. And he's like trying to figure out all these different things. And it's like, dude, even he in the last 3-4 months, his floor price has gone from 10 to 3 ETH, right?
Dude, the whole thing is absolutely absurd. The problem is a meme only lasts so long. And I think that's like the issue that they've faced is that like they have all of these like a a lot of their approaches to marketing, and it is frustrating to be a project owner, or I mean, as someone who's we deal with this, which is that like there's a mixture of things which end up making price pump, and in this market, nothing sustains. Literally nothing sustains. Even
real quick on that, Nick, think about it like this. If something sustained, then someone would just do it over and over again and the price would keep going up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite difficult for these things to, I don't know. It's difficult. I'm interested to see what happens with Pudgy, even like does their floor price continue to appreciate? Like in this market, it's tough. Theirs has been really solid. It's been strong around, well, it was sitting at as low as like 4.2, I think is where it was sitting, around 4. And then now it's gone up to 5, which is...
It dipped under 4. It was like 3.8 at the lows. And then we saw rises to 4.5, tail off. Even last night, we saw 5.2 back to 4.8 and now back above 5.2. But like in this space, now if they don't have constant releases like every 2 weeks of some like fire announcement, it wouldn't shock me just based on like circulating liquidity and the number of active wallets if this dipped back into the 4.5 range.
I think
I don't think that's a controversial take, and I don't think that that's a disrespectful take either. The price just kind of trends down until you...
It's purely the market. It's purely the market. Like that's it. It's like there's just not enough people for it. We did see someone deploy, I think, $250,000 into Pudgies last night, sweeping them at market price, which was impressive. And that person was like
that.
Yeah, and they were first time Pudgy buyers. So like that's really exciting to me.
That's what you need.
They also could have been investors that were attempting to invest in like there's other things that I think go on behind the scenes. Having the investors buy up the NFTs is a bullish thing. The reality though, it's also still just not solid liquidity, like, or sustainable liquidity essentially. And so like we need buyers in this space. Dude, the only thing that has what appears to be sustainable price action is art. Like the reality is it's like there's not enough people in the market right now to sustain these insane floors. And so and instead you get the day-to-day. I mean, we're kind of, you know, it's ironic. We're kind of contributors to the day-to-day fluctuation commentary while simultaneously hating it, because we're on here discussing it each day to say how the price moved associated with these things. But the reality is, like, I don't even think baseball cards trade at that level of volatility. You can go on like eBay and try and snipe one at a deal. And that's the name of the game in the collectibles market, is that it's known to be illiquid. So you go and like try and find deals. Like the hunt is the biggest part of it. This has eliminated that aspect of it and tried to bring it to the Coinbase trading volume situation, which to me is just unsustainable. It doesn't work, unfortunately.
Trying to treat non-fungible tokens as fungible tokens.
Yeah, which is
what we're talking about.
Yeah, which is what Blur really, I think, leans into. I actually think Blur is going to be dead in like a couple of years in the next round, unless they switch their entire model. I'm not interested in it. The only thing you can do is you have two options. You're either an art, like I'm wondering how many pieces, like is it each week that the evening sale at Christie's or Sotheby's happens? Like, is it once a month? Is it once a quarter? How often does that go down? And how many pieces are part of that?
And how old and established is that market and accepted? Do you know what I mean? There aren't people that are just like the digital stuff has no value. Like, people accept that buying a Picasso painting is something to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much history. There's thousands of years. The Medici family in like ancient Italy. Are you kidding me? You know, like there's thousands of years of groundwork, and yet that's way less liquid and totally slower and everything that you're talking about compared to our market.
Yeah. So, I mean, and a lot of these brands have. I mean, I'm looking at this. You got Barbara Kruger Joan Mitchell. I'm looking at the Sotheby's thing. Artists that will de-Kooning, $10 to $15 million they got going on at this. These are insane. One for 30 to 40 million estimate.
And they have a system on how to present these to the people that want to buy them, generate interest, introduce competition, and create sales.
Yeah, and that's the one area where the NFT space is sort of it's sort of weird. You need this money to create this sort of perceived value of this thing. And I understand it on the art side that there is a methodology to kind of bring it there, but you can't do it with every artist. Like, it's just not possible. There's some limited distribution of this. So I don't know. I'm sort of, man, it's tough. I think the project side of it is really difficult. And if we saw from the ICO bubble, dude, 99.9% of them can't sustain. There ends up being like 5 people that end up succeeding. And that's what you're playing for, is to be one of the 5 brands that end up having success. The other brands that have existed are media companies. And I look at like CoinDesk that sold for $150 million. And I look at some like
Decrypt.
Decrypt, which hasn't sold. I think they just raised more money. And the reality is, like, you're either covering it or you're in it, but it's hard to make to have that relevance continued on a sustained basis.
You're right. I think making a business, though, is the gap, because those ICOs didn't make businesses, right? And like I said earlier, the ship is now leaving. Like Pudgy's have a toy business now. Obviously, I would say and forever, but anything can happen in business. But I believe that they will continue marching forward, selling toys. I don't think that's going to stop. So to me, they now have a true foundation. Like, if you're building a house, you need a foundation. There's a concrete foundation there, right? That's the problem. Is that a lot? Someone's talking about beef broth goes. I got a hint for you guys. I don't think beef broth goes are going to build a business. I know they're up, Nick. I know they're up. But beef broth goes, if all of a sudden Sotheby's decides that beef broth goes are the future thing, that's a different story. But I don't believe that will happen, because I believe they're still working on making Fidenzas, Squiggles, Meridians, Memories of Chi Lin, and all of those collections relevant. And keep in mind, the supplies on those collections are gnarly compared to what art collectors are used to doing. We looked it up when Ferocious was on the show the other day. 363 Jackson Pollock pieces in the market. Guy was alive for 44 years, 363 pieces. You got, 5,000 of every Art Blocks collection. Not exactly the same kind of numbers. And you got the people that buy from Sotheby's literally only interested in physical stuff. And even if they're interested in a beautiful 7-foot physical sculpture built by Ferocious, when you tell them that there's an NFT attached to it, they say, I'm out. And obviously that will change over time. It certainly will change over time. But I'm just saying there's a lot going on with all the stuff that we're talking about. And there's still a lot of projects coming out without, I don't know if there's a desire for building a business. There's a desire to, participate in financial manipulation to make a floor price go up, generate royalty revenue, maybe position for a second mint. But I don't know how many people are really positioning to make a real business. And by the way, it's unclear that the NFT market at this point still wants you to make a real business. The only time we've seen a positive response to a real business is Pudgy, right? It is Pudgy. You can make a case for Yuga Labs too, because it's a gaming entity, but Yuga Labs is kind of like an asterisk, because they're the sort of, the blockbuster movie. It's only going to happen once, 2021. It's kind of isolated compared to other stuff. Pudgy's the first time that they're like, we have a toy business, got us into Walmart, and everyone's like, hell yeah. Whereas before it was like, you have a project, don't make a business. It's a project. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way I'm thinking about it. Nick might have a different take.
It's also frustrating. People get pissed if it takes a long time. I think that's like Pixel Vault, for example, is building an actual gaming platform, and they're building an ecosystem. But like the floor just hasn't sustained, because it's just taken time for them to roll these things out. And so that's like another thing that people expect in this space. My thought is there's just too many. Like there's just too many of these NFTs for floor prices to sustain. And to Pio's point earlier, you're going to end up, all the collections are going to be buying up all their own NFTs once they actually make a business.
But that's better than not having a business. It's literally better than not having a business. At least someone's buying the NFTs and it's repeatable. Think about it like this. Let's say you make an e-commerce store. This is a Web 2 thing. Nick, you know all about this. You run some Facebook ads. You end up running an ad that has a 2% conversion rate, where the more money you put into the ad, the more sales you get. That's like a sustainable business, right? There isn't anything in NFTs where you do this and it consistently leads to floor price going up, because if there was, then everyone would just hit that thing and the floor price would keep going up, So all you can do is build a business. All you can do is do something that's going to sustain, that's going to allow you to be around for years. And once you figure that out, you have a business. And if worst case scenario, the most extreme take, the most brutal, strip everything away, think about extremity, think about just hardcore take, you can buy the NFTs. You can provide your own liquidity because you actually have a business. You have recurring revenue. The revenue's growing. Boom. I'm not saying that that's what anyone wants to do. I'm not saying that that's anything that someone will do. But I'm saying that if you really strip it down, think about it extreme, it's a possibility. And that possibility alone is better than just fade to nothing and go to zero, Just throwing it out there that's, if you really strip it down, think about it for a second. What else could happen?
I'm putting that in my pipe and smoking it, brother, dude. I'm really thinking about that. Putting that in my pipe and I'm stewing on it. No, think about that.
Yo, man, did I just blow your mind, man?
Oh, yo, dude. That's crazy, man. Yo, that's crazy.
I like this bit. I don't even. What is the punchline of this bit that Nick's like? Shut up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're at time. But before we go, we got to thank or just shout out our partner for today's show one more time. We got these bicycle playing cards, baby. Three-peat. Third partnership with the folks over at Bicycle. This is a partnership with Bored Ape Yacht Club. There's going to be a pop-up at Ape Fest made by Ape's Bodega in Hong Kong. So all you Hong Kong travelers, you got to check out the Bicycle cards installation over there, because these things are dank. You see all of them on YouTube right now. Clemente's tweeting them out too to celebrate the new
Hogcog.
Okay, to celebrate the new their new brand made by Apes license, the Bicycle team has also promised to pack in even more surprises than they told us. So we don't even know what's going on here. This is going to be such a big surprise. And they've got a huge giveaway that you won't want to miss. Stay tuned to their Twitter. So that's at Bicycle Cards over the next week for updates. And make sure to get your Bored Ape Yacht Club card decks at bicyclecards.com/silverbanana. So we got 3 giveaway winners. Okay. 3 giveaway winners for the giveaway that we did. The Nifty Portal Twitter account will DM you. We got 3. Are you ready for it? We got at Miggy Mello, MIGGYMELO. I know that guy. I tweet with that guy. We got Meta TJ, METATEEJ. Meta TJ. Shout out to Meta TJ. And we've got A Ready ETH. That's AYEREADY. ETH. Those are the 3 winners of the Bicycle Playing Cards Bored Ape Yacht Club Community Collaboration Giveaway. These things are dope. Look at that. Full HD right here. Very, very cool. Community packs of the 138-year-old brand. Bicycle Playing Cards. You almost certainly have a deck of Bicycle Playing Cards in your house. They're doing collabs with Bored Ape Yacht Club. Super cool stuff. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Oh, look, Nick's got it mounted on his microphone. That's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty cool. Can I do that? No. Oh, look at that. What's going on? Yep. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We'll be back tomorrow. If it's your first time listening, we do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's also available on Apple and Spotify podcasts. For the video stream, you can go to YouTube for the visual experience. That's it, though. We will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, Nick's got 2. Look, I can't compete with you on that. That is just some impressive stuff. Wow, that's pretty good. Anyway.